the judges of the Court of Appeals, and the Lieutenant Governor of the State of New York. The swearing-in ceremony will now begin. All please be seated.
Good afternoon. This is a great day here at the Court of Appeals. I'm so delighted that Lieutenant Governor Duffy is here with us, who I will introduce shortly. And this is a great day as we welcome Judge Jenny Rivera officially welcome Judge Jenny Rivera to the court. I mentioned that we have a number of former members of the court here, and they're seated right in a row, so I can't miss them. And you know, we do everything in seniority order here. I think they're seated in seniority order. I think so, to tell you the truth. And first we have my predecessor, the fabulous Judith Kay. And the equally fabulous, who used to be the clerk of this court, as well as the senior associate of the Court of Appeals, Joseph Bellicosa. Again, fabulous. Our local, member of the alumni here in the Albany area, Howard Levine. And our most recent member, the newest member of the alumni of the Court of Appeals, Carmen Beauchamp-Siparik. And sitting next to her is our spectacular Chief Administrative Judge, A. Gail Prudenti. And now the three of the four PJs are here, and we'll do it in terms of what department they're in. The first department, the presiding justice, my old grounds, is Luis Gonzalez. The second department, and the newest PJ, is the Honorable Randall Eng from Queens. And our local PJ, all of your PJs, Karen Peters. And I can't talk about PJs without noting that the one and only Milton Marlin, presiding justice of Second Department for so many years, is here with us. Milt? Okay, so I'm just going by sight lines. If I miss you, it's no... I see Mayor Jennings sitting right in the second row over there, who is always welcome at the Court of Appeals and was so delighted to have you. And sitting next to him is the governor's terrific counsel, Mylan Dennerstein. And sitting right behind Mylan is Judge Brown, or they call him sometimes these days District Attorney Brown from Queens County. So I do not plan to introduce everybody in the room. And again, I do want to mention that the legislature is tied up with the governor, so I don't think I can't see anyone from these, from this vantage point, because most of them are over there doing a budget that we're hoping to get done this week. And I would also note, and again, I want to introduce everybody, I just can't, that I think Dean Michelle Anderson is here from CUNY Law School. and our local law school, the law school up here in Albany. I think Dean Penny Andrews is here. And Judge Graffield keeps handing me notes, so I don't want to introduce everybody, but she keeps telling me I have to. And was so pleased that Judge Ron Ellis from the Southern District of New York is here, our federal. And okay, I'm quitting. I'm not doing any of this anymore. But I do want to, equally important to today's event, is Judge Rivera's family and friends. And I would note that her brother Jose and wife Jackie are here. Her nieces, Bianca Belia, Jacqueline, and Cassandra. Her longtime colleagues and friends, Nitza Milagros Escalera. David Hernandez. Dolly Caraballo. And I see Natalie Gomez-Velez right there with that crew. And of course, first and foremost, I note that Audie Serrano is here, Judge Rivera's life partner, and Audie's sitting right up there. Okay, Deputy Mayor Cara Robles Ramon is here too. Come on. Everyone else forgive me. There's only two of you left, so. Okay. It is a great honor for me to welcome you all to this investiture. I have absolute confidence that Jenny Rivera will be a spectacular, great judge of the Court of Appeals for many, many years to come. Governor Cuomo got it just right when he said that she is a person ideally suited to be on the Court of Appeals. And let me tell you, I know from over 40 years in the court system and having the privilege of knowing high court judges around our country, that there is no one route to the high court of a state. And in this particular case, I think Jenny is a perfect example of why there shouldn't be one route to the high court. You don't have to be a judge and have sat on the bench for your whole life. You don't have to come from a big firm. You don't have to be the president of a major bar association. Jenny Rivera has traveled her own wonderful road to the Court of Appeals. And that is a road that I so admire and respect. She has spent a stellar career in academia, teaching a wide variety of legal disciplines, and has been a leading voice in the pursuit of justice and the civil rights of all persons, including women and Hispanics and victims of domestic violence and those most vulnerable in our society. She has shown a commitment to using the rule of law on which our society and our justice system is based to ensure that everyone, rich and poor, high and low alike, have their day in court. There could not be a better addition to the Court of Appeals of the state of New York. She is a scholar, she is principled, and she has devoted her professional life to the fundamental notion that every single person is equal before the law. And she has done it not only as an academic whose works have been widely published, but also as a pro se clerk in the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, as a special deputy attorney general in the Civil Rights Division under our present governor, Andrew Cuomo, as a lawyer in the Legal Aid Society's Homeless Family Project, as an associate counsel with the Puerto Rican Legal Defense Fund, and as an administrative law judge of the State Human Rights Division and a member of the New York City Human Rights Commission. Aside from her academic prowess, she has great legislative and human instincts. She is a delightful person. She is a person of good heart with a great sense of humor who appreciates the ironies of life. I couldn't be happier than to be here today to preside over this ceremony for Jenny, for her family, for her friends, and for all of us. She has been associated with 3 great law schools, aside from that college somewhere called Princeton. I think it's out in New Jersey somewhere. But 3 great law schools, I would note. First, she has given NYU Law School control of this court, as the chief judge is also an alumnus, and 2 votes from NYU is worth, you know. So, and I am very proud, as a graduate of the law school, we do call it the law school, and Judge Kaye knows that, to welcome Jenny. She also has an LLM from Columbia Law School, and all right, Bob Smith, you're proud, you know, having a lot of pride about Columbia Law School, if you must. And I'm so happy that of her association with CUNY Law School, where she was the founding director of the Center for Latino and Latina Rights and Equality. And I particularly mention CUNY because it's such a wonderful public interest place, and a law school that I've had the pleasure of going to many times. And it really symbolizes, I think, what Jenny Rivera is all about. And you're with those kids in that law school, and you know what it is to have a professor like Jenny Rivera. So I think her background speaks for itself, and I know I speak on behalf of all my colleagues in warmly welcoming her with open arms to the Court of Appeals. She follows in the great tradition of 2 other wise Latinas. One, Sonia Sotomayor, who Jenny had the pleasure of clerking for in the Southern District, and the other, Carmen Beauchamp-Saparic, whose seat she has taken on the Court of Appeals. And I know that Jenny will follow the trail blazed by those 2 great Latinas, but yet she will create her own path and live up to the great traditions and history of this court. So it's my privilege and honor to preside at this ceremony, and it is now my privilege and honor to introduce to you a great lieutenant governor who has been a partner in government for our terrific governor, Andrew Cuomo, and the 2 of them are a spectacular team that have accomplished so much in this state. And I would also add that Bob Duffy is a wonderful human being and someone that I'm proud to have as my friend and someone who I respect and admire so much. So I introduce to you, with great pride, Lieutenant Governor Robert J. Duffy.
First of all, on behalf of Governor Cuomo, I am honored to be here and for swearing in of Judge Rivera. I want to congratulate Judge Rivera and her family and friends who are here. I also want to recognize and thank Chief Judge Littman and all the judges of this court. I did say before we came out here, I spent one of my careers reading a lot of the decisions that came from this court. And at one point would have loved to have sat here during some of those decisions, but I have such great respect for what goes on in this building. I really do, and the impact it has on this state in many different aspects. And I have great respect and appreciation for the current judges, for previous Chief Judge Kaye and the alumni who are here. I've seen firsthand what you do for the lives of New Yorkers in many different ways. So I just appreciate being up here and being part of this ceremony today. For Judge Rivera, I will not go through the entire compendium. Judge Littman did a tremendous job in terms of what she has done, but I would say our great governor is like just a proud family member for this judge, who, as Judge Littman mentioned, Judge Rivera did work for Governor Cuomo as a special deputy attorney general for civil rights. The things that stand out about this great judge is that when she came out of law school, first of all, back up, born in New York City. She is the classic New York success story for this state. A person we should be very proud of, born into a working family in New York City. When she graduated from law school at NYU, as opposed to going into a law firm and going for a career where you made a lot of money, what did she do? She focused on working to help the lives of those who are poor, underprivileged immigrants, quintessential public interest lawyer. And it really speaks to Judge Rivera and her heart in terms of where her heart is. And as a judge mentioned, throughout her career, she has been a distinguished professor. She has been a distinguished clerk to Justice Sotomayor. She has done so much in so many different areas for the state. Her depth of experience, I think, is almost second to none. And I go back to her application of the law to people that really are impacted and need us the most in the state. And that's what she brings to this table. She is a great legal scholar, a great teacher, somebody who has widespread respect from people across the state. We have heard nothing but just incredible praise for her appointment and her confirmation, which speaks to her. And this great court needs someone of Judge Rivera's depth and experience and her background. It really does, to help shape those decisions, which, as I mentioned before, are so important to our state. So I would just say the two things she has going for are a great mind and a great heart. She's a great addition to this distinguished body. And again, on behalf of Governor Cuomo, I want to congratulate Judge Rivera, her family, and this great court. This is a very, very special day for the state. And may God bless her with great wisdom in her decisions in her future. Thank you.
Before I call Judge Rivera up to be sworn in, I did forget one person. The president of the state bar, Seymour James, couldn't be here today, but the president-elect, Dave Schraver, is right over there. Dave, you want to stand up? Okay, with no further delay, I'm going to ask the judge-to-be, even though we've kind of let her sit on the bench for the last week, the judge-to-be to come up and be sworn in. Okay, right hand up, left hand. Okay.
I, Jenny Rivera,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
Judge of the Court of Appeals of the State of New York,
Judge of the Court of Appeals of the State of New York,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, Judge Rivera.
Thank you. Just so everyone understands, my colleague Judge Reed is feeling a little bit under the weather, and she has forbid me to hug her. So just got to keep the record clean. It's on the video. Mwah, that's right. Ooh, great. Well, thank you all for being here, and I hope you will be patient as I go through my written comments. I knew that it would be difficult for me because it's so overwhelming to just try and do this off the top of my head. But know that all that I say is very sincere and deeply heartfelt. First of all, thank you for that extremely kind and generous introduction. Chief Judge Lippman, I'm going off script here because it's just lovely and so wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for your guidance and your wisdom that you've provided during my first month on the court. It's hard to believe that 4 weeks have passed. They have flown so quickly. Thank you, of course, to my other colleagues, Judges Graffio, Reed, Smith, and Piggott, for welcoming me and answering my many, many, many questions as I settled into chambers and this wonderful new job. You have all made me feel at home, and the Court of Appeals is very much like home, and I thank you for that. I look forward to the many cases and issues we will discuss over the years. Thank you. Thank you also to the former members of the court who are here today, most especially to Chief Judge Kaye for the clarity of her writing, because I have been reading many of your opinions over the past few weeks, but also for her deep commitment to the court and for opening this courthouse door to those who had been observers, mere observers before. Thank you so very much. And of course, thank you and mil gracias to Judge Carmen Beauchamp Separak. I am so deeply honored, so very, very proud to follow you on the court, many paces behind right now, but following you. I can only imagine how deeply felt is your absence, and I'm saddened that we will not serve together. But I thank you for all your work, and I assure you that I will work to live up to the standards that you have set, although they are quite high. I'm so very honored to be a member of our highest court. What a thrill it is to enter this building, don this robe, and it's now my new robe. I'm very excited they got it for me on time. And hear the members of the bar argue issues of statewide significance. The great joy of serving as an associate judge of the Court of Appeals is equal only to the great responsibility to treat everyone who appears before us fairly, ensuring that justice is served. I want to thank Governor Andrew Cuomo. He's not here, but I want to thank him for providing me with this great honor. My nomination on the court on January 15th was actually all the more memorable because it fell on Martin Luther King's actual birthday. Annually, I will celebrate doubly as I commemorate Dr. King's legacy and remember fondly the moment when the governor and I talked about the court, its historic role, and the public service each judge provides on this court. Thank you, of course, to Lieutenant Governor Duffy for sending the governor's greetings and for your very generous comments, and, of course, for understanding the great work of this court and our colleagues. Thank you to the Senate Judiciary Committee and the Senate for a most robust and lively set of hearings. Thank you for the opportunity to answer your questions and, of course, for your vote confirming me to the court. I'm especially grateful to those senators who spoke publicly on my behalf, both during the Judiciary Committee and before the Senate vote. There are too many to name individually, but I did want to thank Senator Sampson, the Judiciary Committee Minority Leader, Senators Adams, Breslin, Malavé-Dilan, Espaillat, Hassel-Thompson, Hoylman, Perkins, Sampson, Savino, Smith, and Stavisky. Special thank you, of course, to Senator Klein, who introduced me and spoke on my behalf at the confirmation, and for his words of encouragement throughout the process. I am very, very happy that he represents my district in the Bronx, and I thank you all for speaking so eloquently in my favor. Know that I am committed to living up to the confidence you have shown me with this confirmation. Thank you to the Governor's Council, Mylan Dennerstein, who I've known for some time, and it's been a pleasure throughout all of this time, but whose commitment to my nomination and the integrity of the process was boundless. Thank you for taking time out of what can only be described as a hectic, full schedule in order to answer every question, even those that merited far less importance than I attributed to them. Many, many thanks to the other members of the Governor's office for all of their time and assistance, and given the demands on the office, I am very, very appreciative of taking that time to help me. I'm pleased to recognize so many members of the judiciary who are here. Thank you for joining us today and for your service in ensuring that our courts continue their tradition of access and justice. I look forward to meeting those of you who I don't know and spending time with you during my time on the court. And of course, those of you who I know, I'm looking forward to spending as much time as we can while I am here. I'm very grateful to my family. You heard the Chief Judge mention that my brother, my sister-in-law, and my 3 nieces who colleagues earlier today asked me about my nieces, and I said, oh yes, the little girls, and they said, how little are they? And I was quickly reminded that they're about taller than I am, but I continue to see them as those lovely 3 children who are in my life. So I'm grateful to you for being here today and celebrating my appointment. I'm grateful to my friends and my colleagues. Thank you to all of you who supported me during the nomination and the confirmation process. Your encouragement was extremely meaningful to me. You carried me through the twists and turns, the ups and downs. You made me laugh and smile when I could barely take a breath, and I'm very, very thankful to you. I'm very happy to share this day with many of those who have worked with me in practice and at CUNY School of Law. Working with you made me a better public interest lawyer, legal educator, and scholar. The lessons I have learned from my years working with all of you will be of immeasurable assistance in this next stage of my public service career. I know that my commitment to fairness and justice have been strengthened through our work over the years. For members from the Public Interest Bar and the Latino community who are here today in person and in spirit, thank you for your commitment to equality under the law and for paving the way for me for this day. I have left the best for last, the person who is first in my life, my partner, the person who is more than my better half. He is my confidant, my friend, Audie. Without your love, support, encouragement, laser-sharp insight, and candor about all things, the journey would not have been possible and most certainly would not have been as sweet. I have just one more thing before we go to the second part of the celebration at the New York State Bar Association across the street, where I can give each of you an in-person heartfelt thanks and celebrate in the best possible way, and my fellow Lower East Sider knows what I'm talking about, over some good food and in the company of close and dear friends. Today, some of you may know, is the 50th anniversary of Gideon v. Wainwright. In that case, the Supreme Court decided that indigent defendants have a right to the assistance of counsel. Every time I put on the robe and remember the oath I have taken today, I will remember the Supreme Court's words in Gideon that, quote, our state and national constitutions and laws have laid great emphasis on procedural and substantive safeguards designed to assure fair trials before the law. They are words to live by, and I will close by saying, let justice be done. Thank you so much. Amen.